Sure.
All right, let's do it. Okay. Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies, where nerd is the new bully. I'm your host, Leroy, with my co-host.
This is Eli.
Yep, and we are back with a brand new episode. We had an epic one last week where we specifically talked about Infinity War, which is this monster juggernaut hit. And now we're going to get back to basics, what we usually talk about in this podcast, which is nothing really, or everything. Who knows? One or the other.
It's not the all new, all different comic book bullies.
We're not doing all the. We don't have a new cast. I'm not Ryan Gomer. So we're just gonna go with what we had before. Eli. Two things happened this week because this is a very important week. One thing that happened, like you said, we're gonna talk about this later on, is the May the 4th.
Yes.
Which is a nerd holiday. For those that don't know it, why the hell are you listening to this podcast? That's like I said, May the 4th is basically for Star Wars. May the 4th be with you. Eli, Star Wars never actually had a movie come out on May the 4th, did it?
No.
Okay, that's just a thing.
It's a thing, yeah. They just started. It's been a while now. Holy crap!
It's been a while. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've seen May the 4th.
At least a decade now. Now that I think about it, they've been doing it. Shit.
Yep. And the funny thing about it, early this year, May the 4th was going to be the release date of Infinity War, which I didn't hear any Star Wars fans get upset about that or make a protest about it. But all of a sudden, Disney pushed it back, and it was like, okay, whatever. So, but that being said, it was another holiday came out. And this is not a nerd holiday. I don't even know whose holiday this is, but Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, the 5th of May for what, one town in Mexico celebrates it?
Exactly. Nobody even knows what Cinco de Mayo is or why we even celebrating it or who celebrates it. But hey, you go ahead and get drunk, For other people that pay bills, that was rent day. So that's the holiday for us.
Basically, yeah.
So, Eli, did you celebrate Cinco de Mayo?
No, I did not. It was raining yesterday. I was going to go to the drive-in and see Avengers again, but it fucking thunderstormed.
Oh,
but,
wow.
But I living on the west side of St. Paul. It's like a predominantly Mexican neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's basically that's where one of the Cinco de Mayo parades happened.
Okay, so they did celebrate Cinco de Mayo. Because I don't know the protocol for Cinco de Mayo. Okay, for instance, if you have like a Hispanic coworker, do you ask to celebrate Cinco de Mayo? Do you wish him happy Cinco de Mayo? Do you ask them what they did on the 6th, what they did for Cinco de Mayo? I mean, how do you do that,
Yeah.
Or is that insensitive,
Yeah, well, for the West Side, it's a big deal. Like, they have a parade. I mean, for me, because I'm not Mexican, I don't really care. But it just annoys me because all the streets are blocked off, and that Saturday, just avoid Robert and Concord. Just don't go down. It's just traffic, and you ain't gonna get around anywhere. So, but I haven't been down there to celebrate. They have a parade. They have it's like a carnival. Mm-hmm. It's like a one-day carnival. They got the lowriders out, and the street vendors and all that shit. And I haven't been in years, but just because I guess I don't give a shit that much.
Well, that's a thing. So at least it's cool because I didn't know, if Mexicans celebrated Cinco de Mayo or something they just try to, distance themselves from, or, I do know that you're not supposed to wear a sombrero on Cinco de Mayo. I know that. Like if you're not Mexican and you wear a sombrero, don't do that.
Yeah, that's a big deal for the neighborhood around here. So, yeah, I know a lot of people who do go down there, and
we had a Cinco de Mayo party down here also, but it was nothing but black people. So I don't know how that works out. A lot of rap music playing,
Yeah, we hear the mariachi music going, and of course, there's gonna motherfuckers are gonna be wilding out by fucking nighttime and shit. You hear the cops fucking sirens and shit, and every year it never fails, but it's a big deal around here. Not so much of a big deal to me. Yeah.
But here's the thing, Eli. Being black, we get guilt tripped anytime we celebrate another culture's holiday. St. Patrick's Day, you hear it. Cinco de Mayo here. Oh, you'll celebrate somebody else's holiday, but what about blah blah blah, something else? Like let's just celebrate a holiday.
How come you're not celebrating Hanukkah?
Right, because some shit, like just let us celebrate this day. It's okay for us to just have fun and celebrate another day. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I think Cinco de Mayo has been pretty much Americanized because, from what I understand, in Mexico they don't even give a shit about it. It's not the Mexican Independence Day that everyone thinks.
Everybody thinks it is, right? You know.
From what I understand, it was just like one small town in Mexico. They helped. What they do? They helped beat the French out.
Out of United States.
During the Civil War,
yeah, they helped beat them out of the United States.
Yeah, and
or
so
something.
It's basically how one Mexican troop squad defeated a Mexican defeated the French ships that tried to land in Mexico, and basically how Mexico helped America win the Civil War is what I understand. I could be wrong, but
that would make sense why black people would celebrate it. So yeah,
yeah. So build a wall on the country that helped you win your or the one town or whatever.
Right. I don't know. Maybe we need to get more cultural awareness of what exactly Cinco de Mayo is, or even the town that celebrated. I don't know. We'll do that next year.
Yeah, we're not those kind of nerds. Sorry.
We're not. This is not a historian podcast.
Yeah.
That being said, like I said, we can get into actually what we'd like to talk about in this podcast. We can dive right into the box office numbers. Like I said, it's very exciting. Let me take a look at these numbers. Let me pull these up. Eli, give it to me. What was the number one?
Oh, I heard fucking Avengers. I already cracked $1 billion.
Already cracked $1 billion. If I think correctly, I think it's like 1.1 billion already.
Yeah,
that's like I saying in like a week. So
in a week.
And it's still fastest movie all time, and it still hasn't been released in Russia or China yet.
That's fucking nuts, man.
That's insane. So going down the list, and like I said, we'll come back to Avengers Infinity War, but let's go down the list because people saw other stuff. Okay, so we have number 2, Overboard.
That's the remake, isn't it? I guess that's a remake. The Kurt Russell,
Goldie Hawn
back in the day, yeah.
Yeah. So funny thing is, since Avengers star Chris Pratt, Overboard stars Chris Pratt's ex-wife, so they're kind of battling out with each other. Number 3, we have A Quiet Place. Okay, that's cool. Number 4, I Feel Pretty, still hanging in there making its money. That movie's probably gonna make its money back anyway. It don't look like it cost that much. Number 5, Rampage. Ouch, Rock. Marvel whooped your ass again. Number 6, we have Tully. I don't know what the fuck that is. Number 7, Black Panthers. What the hell? It's still hanging in there.
That was at the drive-in. That was at the drive-in here. It's like Avengers and Black Panther.
Yeah, it's just amazing that it's been out this long and still in top 10. It comes out on digital this week.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's still gonna be at the theaters. That's insane. Number 8, we have Truth or Dare. Number 9, we have Super Troopers, and number 10, Bad Samaritan. Now somebody at the movie theater asked for Bad Samaritan. Eli, what is that?
Is that like a horror movie? Is that the guy with the Doctor Who guy in a horror movie? I think.
Which one? It's like 50 million Doctor Who dudes.
Tenant.
Oh, okay.
Don't ask me to number them. I don't fucking know.
He is. I'm not gonna say it because if I say the wrong number, I'm gonna get attacked. So I'm just.
Sorry, we're not those kind of nerds.
Right. He's 1 through 10. One of those guys. So.
Yeah, before Matt Smith.
Right.
So I know.
Oh man. Let's go back to Avengers. Like I said, right now Avengers is currently at $1.1 billion in its first week, which is insane. It is already top 15 movie of all time. That would say, let's look at Black Panther's numbers real quick. Like I said, it's still hanging in there. It's got to be doing some damage, some kind of wear. Let's look and see what we have, because you can almost bet money by the time next week comes, Avengers will have passed Black Panther. It is right on the heels of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, and it might, and if it beats that, it'll put it at number 8 of all time in the theaters. So it might beat that by next week. So Black Panther still hanging in there. Avengers still hanging in there, and it's kind of crazy because that's gonna mean. I think they're saying that Disney is already this year in 2018 already at $3 billion. So
good for them.
Yeah, crazy money. They're saying both Avengers movie probably cost them like $1 billion, for budget or something like that. They said Robert Downey Jr. made like $200 million by itself, off his paycheck. So yeah, this movie will make its money. The other movie will make its money also. Now, Eli, I know you said that you didn't get a chance to see Avengers. I saw it 3 times.
Damn.
Already. I mean, I paid one. Like I said, I went to see it Thursday. I want to see it early because I want to get the review and stuff like that. Then I went with my boss because my boss took a bunch of us out to celebrate last month. We had a good month last week, so we went out, saw the movie again. Then I went with my parents also because they wanted to see the movie because they heard about Avengers was insane. My mom also heard Black Panther's in the movie, so she wanted to see it. So we went and saw it. She said the movie sucked. So that's my mom's review of the movie. I'll go in a little bit of detail because I did ask my mom because I wanted to get what somebody's opinion of somebody that's not into this stuff, and to go back. Basically, she was like, and I look at the reaction my family was giving. Like they basically was too many characters. Like when you get used to one character, like Tony Stark or Wong or Thor, or whatever like that, another character pops up, another character pops up, another character pops up, and then as soon as you forget about the other character, you didn't know, then they go back to him and tell his story, and you forgot. Then you go back to him, and I can see they getting confused, especially if you're going to see the movie for Black Panther. He didn't show up until an hour into the movie, That's the thing there. I think the plot structure. I think if you're not into the movie, even the very plot and the structure of the movie might throw you off, like confusion, like you don't know what the hell's going on. So, but like I said, everybody's not into these movies. We're into them, and we look at them through a different lens than somebody else would, and that's just how it is, So that's what. And I might go see it again, Eli. I might go see it again.
Well, I'd like to see it again before.
I really want to see it in IMAX. They saying IMAX is the way to see it. They say in IMAX you actually see more of the movie.
Okay.
But the nearest
wider frame.
Wider frame. But the thing is, the nearest IMAX theater is like 3 hours away from me. So I got to really think like I don't want to see it that bad, unless something is actually going on there. But that being said, Eli, I want to go to the next subject because still sticking with Infinity War, I went on Twitter and I read something that I can't unsee. And what I unsaw is that I saw a trending topic of Thanos, and basically a bunch of people on Twitter were saying Thanos was thick, But those that don't know what thick means, they mean that Thanos is hot. So apparently some women or whatever, saw this movie and, like, what the hell, Eli?
They're just panties soaking and shit.
Yeah, like that. Like he's a maniac, a genocide, and he's murdering people. But you're like, oh, that's sexy. Like how, But I thought about it for a second, Eli. I'm like, you know what? The fact that people look at Thanos that way, it makes us look less creepy. Guys, yeah. I meant, like, guys, think about it. Okay, so they're looking at Thanos and thinking he's hot and sexy and all stuff like that. But that's the same thing we were doing. We look at Mystique, So now we look less creepy looking at Mystique or anything like that. Or if we look
Psylocke.
Yeah, or like Jessica Rabbit, So we look less creepy there, or like the Dead or Alive volleyball girls on police station, stuff like that. So we're less creepy looking at that. So if you can look at a CGI monster like Thanos and get wet in the panties and shit like that, if I look at Mystique or anything like that, hey, I'm no more of a creep than you are. We're both creeps. And so with equal opportunity is 2018. You like a cartoon,
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why? Vampirella and Witchblade.
Yeah, oh
Gen
yeah.
13.
Now you're bringing back all those memories. Yeah, we was all 14 when we liked that shit anyway. We'll let that shit slide.
Yep.
I always wonder why I kept reading
Lady Death.
Right.
Lady
I always kept wondering why I kept reading those Catwoman comic books. I don't know shit about Catwoman,
Yeah.
Sticking with Infinity War, and then we'll jump off the subject also, because apparently the Russos went to a high school in Iowa. Apparently they're from Iowa or something like that, and they went there and they did like a Q&A session. And they actually dropped a couple, spoilers maybe for the next movie or insight of the movie that we didn't know about, and it was pretty interesting. They just let it go. For instance, one of the interesting thing they said was about Venom. Like I said, we talked about Venom, and they confirmed that Venom was not in the MCU. It was Sony's property, so it won't be interfering with their characters. Yeah. We knew that, but for some reason, people freaked out when they saw that. Like, why? You should have known that. What else did they say on there? A big spoiler I'm gonna give you. Okay, remember when Thanos kept saying Gamora, like little baby Gamora, and after he snapped his fingers.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently that was Gamora actually in the soul. He was in the soul world. He was in the Soul Stone, the yellow stone that he got, and he was actually talking to Gamora because Gamora is in the Soul Stone with him. So technically, she's still alive. So they confirmed that. I already suspected that, but they basically confirmed that.
Now, but isn't in the comics? Isn't there? There's like it's not. Is it Limbo or whatever where all the souls go? Well, there's a world where all the souls go.
Well, I'm not 100% sure about that, but there is a soul world in the comics, and Gamora was stuck in there.
Soul world?
Yeah, soul world, like the Soul Stone. Like there's a world inside the Soul Stone, and she was stuck in there one time because Thanos killed her or whatever, something like that.
Yeah. There's all these secret pockets to, the universe that's in Marvel. So I'm sure that's where everybody's hanging out.
Yeah. There's all kind of multiverses and stuff like that. Trying to think, what else did they say? Okay, another weird thing that I saw. Remember the Tom Holland scene at the end? Spoilers: Spider-Man dies. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I don't know what the hell you knowing. When Spider-Man died, apparently they said that whole scene was improvised.
Yeah.
And so I thought they were cool. They pretty much just said, pretend like this is the worst day of your life, pretend like you're in super pain, and everything there dialogue-wise, that was just him just acting. They just kept the camera rolling. Trying to think, what else did we get from there? They said Valkyrie lives, Korg is dead. Oh, they also said the Black Widow Hulk relationship. They said it's done, and they said the main reason it's done because the fans don't like that shit.
Oh, really?
They even commented about it. They were like, "Yeah, Joss Whedon put that in there, but the fans don't like it, so we're just gonna kind of downplay it." So.
Yeah. Now, was there like a little bit of like when they first meet up again, and was it Falcon was like awkward? You think that maybe they got it on, like maybe Black Widow hooked up with somebody else?
That's exactly what happened. When I watched it the second and third time, it was actually very obvious. Her and Cap hooked up.
Okay, yeah.
It's pretty obvious because the thing is when Hulk says Nat, he calls her name, and you know how the camera kind of pans in and make it serious. It didn't pan into her. It panned into her and Captain America, both of them, and that's when Falcon said awkward. And it wasn't just that. Remember the scene when in Scotland where Cap and Black Widow were fighting against the Black Order?
Yeah.
Well, apparently they were, they took one of the Black Order spears and they were sharing the spear between each other, like they'll fight, throw it, fight, throw it, fight, throw it. But they were fighting so in concert with each other, it felt like, okay, they really, really know each other.
They've been practicing.
So it's pretty obvious they've hooked up since then, and they're probably together right now. Especially since they've been on the run for the last 2 years. They know nobody but themselves. They thought Banner was dead. He's been gone for 2 years. So yeah, I mean the Russos. The Russos didn't say she hooked up with Cap, but they did say she moved on. So you kind of put two and two together. That that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. I'm trying to think what else we got from that one. I think that's pretty much all we got.
One thing I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That, they said that they weren't confirm or denying it, but that maybe perhaps Thanos killed himself, and that's why he's in the Soul Stone. That he was part of the random.
Oh no! They said he didn't do that. They said he didn't do that. They said he did take a lot out of him, though. They said he didn't kill himself, but because they said that when he snapped his finger, basically he made sure he was the one that died.
Okay.
So especially since he teleported himself out of there. So, or maybe he did. Maybe I made that shit up. I don't know. Maybe he did die. But remember, it took a while for the shit to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Oh, that would be fucked up because I mean, well, if he's dead, Infinity Gauntlet would still be around. They can still grab it or whatever. So I don't know. A lot of stuff going on in that movie. A lot of stuff I was able to unpack. Secondly, when I saw the movie, I'm not going to get to all the stuff now, but pretty interesting. Can we move to some DC stuff?
Sure.
Okay. So DC has a new streaming service coming out because Lord knows we don't have enough of those. So yeah. Apparently the streaming service, they've already announced their lineup. One lineup they have is Titans, the fiasco that we talked about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. Swamp Thing. Okay. Sounds pretty interesting. Young Justice Season 3 will be on there. So it's not going to be on Netflix like we thought it was going to be. It's going to be on there, exclusively on their streaming service. Which kind of makes sense because they had Young Justice on Netflix one time, like the old shows, and then gone, just like that. So I'm pretty sure they're going to bring all their shows over. Harley Quinn is getting a show, I guess. I don't know.
Is it animated?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a real show or a live show or what. They said Harley Quinn is coming. And I'm pretty sure they're going to bring a bunch of their old shows over also. That being said, like I said, they got a bunch of there's still regular shows on Netflix also. Like for instance, Black Lightning is on Netflix now. The last season of Legends of Tomorrow is on. Gotham's not on it yet. I'm gonna wait for Gotham to, season finale to be there before I binge that. Have you been keeping up with that, Eli?
I haven't watched it in a couple of years.
They said the Joker's on there, like the full-fledged Joker's on there.
Well, I saw like a preview where they're like it's like, was it that Jerome as a brother or a twin brother?
Some shit like that, but he's like full on going. So I saw that, I was like, okay, interesting, because he's the only thing I really liked about the show.
Yeah, like the straight up like the Joker toxins on there and all. I saw like the green mist and shit.
Yeah, like he's got the smile and everything, the white face, everything. So I'm like, okay, I want to check that out, but I'll just wait to it and get a chance to just watch it when it's all said and done,
Yeah.
That's the thing. Shit, trying to think what else we got. Before I move on. Oh, yeah. We got one more thing we got to talk about. We got to talk about Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You almost forgot, Eli.
Yeah, well, I'm following your lead, man.
Okay, it's my fault. Whatever. Okay, so like I said, we were talking about May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. We're going to talk about some Star Wars. Like I said, we have Solo coming out. When's it coming out again? Next week?
May 25th or whatever.
Okay, we got time. Yeah. We got time. Yeah. Okay.
But Deadpool this week, and then you get a couple weeks till.
Are you serious? Deadpool comes out this week?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, look, you comic book. Now I'm getting like everybody else. There's too many comic book movies. Space this shit out.
It's like fucking May is gonna be a busy month, man.
Right. Look, I know you guys may be waiting for us to review that. I might have to wait on Deadpool. We'll wait for spoiler shit after that one. But the thing I want to talk about Solo is because, and let's talk about Solo for a second, because they're saying Solo has twice as many pre-sale tickets as Black Panther did.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, so they're expecting a huge. But this is why it's nuts, Eli. I mean, are people really excited for this movie like that?
I mean, I am, because I'm a Star Wars fucking nerd. But what I think is funny is like all these motherfuckers who bitched about The Last Jedi.
That's my whole point, right?
And how the Star Wars is done and all this bullshit. They're full of shit.
But that's my whole point. Okay, you had people bitching about Last Jedi. You had people bitching about Force Awakens. So that's two movies like that. You had people bitching about this movie. People bitching about the casting. All the troubles behind the scenes with this movie. But they're still saying the movie's gonna do like $1 billion.
Damn.
I don't see. I'm not saying the movie's gonna be bad. I don't know if the movie's gonna be bad. I'm just shocked that the movie is still tracking the way it is. When you hear all this negativity and especially with all the stuff that you've been hearing about, just about Star Wars in general, because people have been upset with The Last Jedi and stuff like that. And the funny thing about it, Eli, I did a post, like I said, May the 4th has passed, but I did a post of what is your favorite, post-millennium, new millennium Star Wars movie. So not counting the old trilogy, just everything after the old trilogy. And all the posts I put in there, all of them said, Last Jedi won every single one of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, if y'all hate this movie, why is it the leading? Like in every single group I posted it in.
Yeah,
I don't understand it. So do people hate this movie or love this movie?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just people like to bitch, man. Like, even Anthony, who, like, my fellow Geek Sabs host, he's like, oh man, he's all excited about Solo. And he's like, man, I was a little worried because I hated The Last Jedi, but now I'm back out. Like, oh yeah, all he needed to see was the Millennium Falcon, and creaming in his pants.
That's what I don't understand. You think that, with all that bad will that supposedly The Last Jedi caused, you think it would have some, pushback with Solo, but it doesn't seem like that. It seemed like, if anything, it did the exact opposite. Like, Last Jedi got people excited to see Solo.
Yeah, and it's like, I think most of the complaining and the trolling online is just, attention craving. They're just, they're just trying to shock people and to piss people. You know how the internet is.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Worst movie ever, and then get all the likes and the comments blow up, and that's all. Basically all it is. And then,
right. The internet works in ones and zeros. Everything is the best thing ever, the worst thing ever. There is no middle ground.
Yeah. So all their complaining and, like I know, like, yeah, they're full of shit. You're going to see this shit.
Now, one thing.
Star Wars, like, as much as, like, Anthony bitched and moaned about it, I was like, well, are you done with Star Wars? Well, then give me all your toys then, motherfucker. Right.
I mean, reason I'm asking that because, like I said, we've seen people bitch and moan stuff like that, but we've seen that affect the box office before. Now, I hate to bring a dark cloud on this podcast, but I got to bring it up. The DCEU. Let's talk about Batman v Superman or Man of Steel, stuff like that. Those movies, the fans will not gravitate to. Like them or hate them, it doesn't matter what your personal opinion of them. The general movie audience wasn't gravitating to those two movies. So by the time Justice League came out, people already hopped off the train. Now, like the movie, don't like the movie. The fact is, people were done with the franchise altogether. And
that's comic fan. I mean, the only people who saw the DC movies are the comic book fans.
Yeah.
It's not like Star Wars or like Marvel. Marvel hooked non-comic book fans. That's why they're making so much money, is because people who don't read comics like these movies. And Star Wars is Star Wars. Star Wars is just a multi-generational pop culture icon. That's just, the world just has Star Wars in it. It's a Star Wars world, so that's just how it is. But DC, they catered, they catered to the comic book fans, and that's about the only people who saw it. They didn't hook the, if you didn't read comics, you didn't give a shit about BVS, or care to fucking discuss, those dialogues that we've had for the past couple of years.
Right, 2-3 years.
Whether it's a good movie or not. No,
That's what I don't understand. If people hate that movie so much, why have they dissected every single scene of that movie?
Yeah.
I hate this movie, especially in 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the movie where they said the exact dialogue in our quote. Like, why are you taking it that seriously? If you just don't like the movie, just don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Do something more constructive, So my thing is, I'm gonna see Solo. I'm excited. If they give me the Kessel Run and they pull the Kessel Run off where it's exactly how I imagine in my head, the movie gets a pass for me. I don't care what else they do with the movie, get a pass for me. You give me a good Kessel Run.
Yeah, to me, Star Wars is always about spaceships shooting each other and dogfights and lasers. Just give me that. I'm good.
Yeah, that's all. I'm not expecting too much. I'm not expecting Schindler's List. I don't have to have that to be entertained.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, just give me the sights and sounds that I like to see, and I'll be halfway entertained.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be worse than the shittier Star Wars movies, and there have been some shitty ones.
Yeah,
but even the shittiest ones, I was still entertained.
Right. Now, I will say this. Now, already doing the press screen, it seems like the market and the promo market is putting that money behind Donald Glover. Like the guy actually playing Solo, you don't see him anywhere press screening, but Donald Glover is like everywhere right now. Last night he was on Saturday Night Live, and it was one of their best shows they've had in a while. It was like really funny on there. He was killing it. He said he tried to be on Saturday Night Live at one time. He used to be on all these sitcoms anyway and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Promoted some new music, and I'm excited for his album now. Eli, I'm gonna say this one thing, I'm leaving it alone. I feel like even though they took Kanye West from us, they gave us Childish Gambino. So I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, well, he does a lot of other things besides rap, so that I'm good with.
Right.
Actually, the last Childish Gambino album I actually dug. That's because he wasn't rapping. That's probably.
Well, I didn't like that because he rapping, but I will say this: Redbone is his absolute best song. So I can't.
Pretty much, yeah. That was, that was some cool shit. I mean, I never got into his rapping.
Yeah.
But hey, I loved him on Community. I loved him in, I love Atlanta. It's a great show.
He was a writer on 30 Rock.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
Yep. So he was on. He actually
even his
like
stand-up. He actually did some stand. I've seen one of his stand-up specials. He was funny.
Yeah, he talked about when he, he's one of the inspirations for Miles Morales. How fanboys wanted to kill him just for even mentioning he wanted to be Spider-Man. So I thought that was all pretty interesting there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good dude. So it seemed like they promotion-wise, you're putting all the money behind him. Hide the other guy. As long as he just doesn't screw up too much, I think they're okay. And honestly, with the Han Solo casting, I don't think he has to do too much. I mean, because he's going to be our point of view character anyway. We have to see ourselves through our eyes. Where Harrison Ford wasn't that guy. Luke Skywalker was that guy in that movie. So he doesn't have to be a scene stealer in every movie. As long as he carries us through this world that Son Holo go through, I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this. I mean, yeah, I don't think the guy playing Han Solo is very convincing, but as long as the story's cool and everything around it makes me forget about, what a crappy, casting job that is. Because everything I see in the trailer, like Chewie and, the Star Destroyers getting assembled and all that shit, I'm like, damn, this looks awesome.
Right. Like I said, more Star Wars. Isn't the original guy that wrote the original trilogy writing this one also?
Yeah, Lawrence Kasdan. This is I think his last script. He says it's his last Star Wars script.
Oh, cool. That's I mean, that means it's authentic Star Wars. We're getting this is straight from the source. Maybe a different director, but it's straight from the source. They did say that George Lucas threw in a joke in this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they said he came to the set one day, watching the film, and he leaned over to Ron Howard. Han Solo. You know what Han Solo was saying in this situation? He would say blah 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 blah, and Ron Howard would say, "Okay, throw that in the scene. Take 2, do that." So I don't know if they made that up or we'll know when we see the movie. So yeah. So like I said, we got to talk some more about Star Wars. You still want to talk about our best lightsaber fights?
Yeah. There we go. Just to commemorate May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th.
Now, Revenge of the 5th, that's from the prequels. So I know a lot of people hate the prequels, but you didn't get that before the prequels. So
yeah, and if you didn't finish your Star Wars marathon on May the 4th, you had another day to get to extend another
it used to be
extension.
So easy. It used to be so easy to marathon, because here's the thing, Eli. I used to marathon all 6 movies religiously, way more times than I can count, all 3 of them. And now here's the thing: do you do the machete method?
I did that once, but I'm not as obsessive as I used to be.
Yeah.
So I just kind of watch whatever. I'm like, you know what? I want to watch that scene. I want to see the Rancor, so I'll just throw on Jedi. Or I just want to see my favorite scenes. You know what I mean?
No, I can't do that. I can't do that. Yeah. I can't throw on a scene.
I don't throw on the scene. Not just the scene. I was like, I want to see that scene, so I'll throw on that movie.
Okay.
And I'll watch that movie. But I won't. I ain't got the time anymore to fucking sit there for 12 hours a day watching.
But I'm saying the machete method, it works. It's the best way to watch it. It does work.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what the machete method is, one thing you can do is Google, but another thing, I'll tell you what it is right now. I'm trying to remember exactly how it is. Okay, so the machete method actually eliminate episode 1 altogether. Just pretend like it doesn't exist.
I've heard it's optional. You can, or
episode 1 is a standalone movie. It really is. You can start with episode 2 and get everything you need.
Pretty much.
Because remember, it's like a 10-year gap between the 2 movies anyway. So you can just pretend because you already know Anakin and Obi-Wan were training with each other, so all that stuff is not necessary. So start with episode 2. And then before you go to episode 2, I think you, damn it, I can't remember.
No, it's you start with A New Hope, which is episode 4.
No, you watch
Empire.
You got to
and
start.
Then you treat the prequels as a flashback.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because once you get to the Luke, I am your father, then you go back.
You're right. That is what you do. Okay.
Then you watch the prequels, and then you see Anakin's story. You watch Anakin's story and his fall to the dark side. Then you end with Jedi, and then that makes, I guess, from people who've watched it for the first time in that order, they don't know if Luke is going to turn to the dark side. It makes it more suspenseful in Jedi, at the end of Jedi.
Yeah. Especially since the ending of episode 3 is so dark, and you lead right back in episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that's the machete method, exactly. And yes, it does work.
After seeing Anakin fall to the dark side, you actually wonder if Luke will do that too. So
right, and it definitely worked, because I saw it and I was like, and you can, if you watch him straight through and all those outs like that, you definitely feel the tension of what they was intending the whole time with that. So it makes sense. Episode 1, skip it, don't need it, whatever. But yeah, Eli, give me your top 5, and I'll try to remember which ones.
You want to go back and forth in order?
We'll go back and forth. I don't know which ones I'm gonna go with, but I'm just go whatever pops in my mind, just like least out of them.
Okay. I put a little bit of thought into it on the drive home. So I was like, okay, my number 5, I have Rey and Kylo Ren versus the Praetorian Guards in the throne room and The Last Jedi.
Oh, you got the new ones in there. Okay, I wouldn't think about that one. Okay.
I'll just because it was new. It was some pretty cool choreography, and Kylo Ren's impaling his saber through that one guy's head was pretty fucking dope.
Okay.
So.
Oh, my turn. Okay. Okay. I'm just, like I said, I'm a freestyle. My 5th favorite, and it may or not be, I'm gonna say in The Last Jedi, the last fight scene, and it may not count, but I'm gonna count it anyway. Luke versus Kylo.
Okay. He's just bobbing and weaving and shit.
Bobbing and weaving, the way he's died, stuff like that. The reason I love that fight scene so much, even though it really wasn't a fight scene, because it was so much taken out of like old westerns, old samurai movies, like the cinematography of it. It was just beautiful. It was just beautiful the way that was framed. I was like, oh my goodness, I think to me personally, Last Jedi is I think probably the most beautiful cinematic Star Wars movie we've ever gotten. Like the way that movie was framed was awesome, and that fight scene, and even the fact you didn't know that Luke wasn't really there, just the way he was fighting and the stuff he was saying, it hit me. I was fine with it. I know a lot of people hated that scene. I loved it. That was a great.
I loved it too. I mean, because we were waiting the whole movie, or actually 2 movies, for Luke to do some shit.
Right.
And then he finally shows up to do something, but it's not what you expected.
Right. But just the fact that they were just standing preparing to attack each other, that was made it so awesome. I was just, okay, I'm ready for this,
Yeah. So that's your number 5. Mm-hmm. Okay, my number 4 is Luke versus Vader on Dagobah in Empire. When Luke goes down into the cave and he has that vision. Now, it's not very choreographed very well or anything. It's like only like 3 blows are thrown, and then until Luke chops off Vader's head, and of course the helmet blows up and it reveals that Luke is underneath the Vader mask. It's like a nightmarish scene, giving Luke like, hey, this could be you, So it's a very surreal scene, and actually brought Empire. It brought a lot of depth and a new direction to the whole Star Wars. That's the moment where the Star Wars universe got way more deeper than it deserved to go. You know what I'm saying? Because you really felt Luke's tension and his fear, and that was just, and it's like in slow motion and shit. So not very action oriented, but it's just a weird, brilliantly made scene that just it made the mythology matter even more. So that's my number 4.
Oh, Eli, I'm disappointed. I thought that would be higher for you, but
I got some more.
Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, let me
bug out on my number 1. Watch.
Probably not. I may or may not. We're gonna see. Okay, I got my friend a little bit more. Like I said, that one's gonna go a little higher. Got that one. I got 4 more left to go, right? Okay, so the one I'm going to put on there is, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to say Yoda versus Dooku.
Attack of the Clones?
Yeah, Attack of the Clones. I'm going to say Yoda versus Dooku because the movie sucked. I'm sorry, it flat out did. But just watching that scene,
yes,
it was just like we wasn't expecting it. Nobody was expecting Yoda to actually fight. Now, watching that scene again, okay, it doesn't hold up as much as it did before, but just the initial shock of seeing Yoda doing that, I was like, oh, what the hell? And it was so amazing. So it's like that one part of the scene almost saved the movie for me. It didn't, but it almost saved the movie for me.
Yeah, and when I remember seeing it for the first time, that moment might be the only moment in all those prequels that made me feel like giddy, like a little kid. Like seeing Yoda do all that, like it was like a Hong Kong action movie. He was flipping around like that Hong Kong swordplay shit. I was like losing it. And
like the whole crowd was like, "What the fuck?"
Like, yeah. So that was one of the, I think, the best moments in all the true. Yeah, the movie ain't that great,
right?
But that moment is one of the best in all those prequels. You know,
because before then we never considered Yoda even using a lightsaber. Like it's just something like he's beyond that. We're like, no, I'm not beyond that. I can use it if I need to.
Yeah, he could just lift shit up and throw you around with his mind, but then he actually used a lightsaber and was like holding his own against a full-sized human. It was crazy. So yeah, no, that was cool. That was your number 4?
That was my number 4. Okay, so I got 3 more.
Okay, my number 3. Okay, here we go. Obi-Wan versus Anakin / Yoda versus Sidious, the ending of Revenge of the Sith.
I feel like you're cheating, but I'm gonna let it go.
Because they're both in the same scene,
right?
And they're both happening at the same time.
Yeah,
and both of them working together makes that scene even more crucial. You have the two, the friendship between Obi-Wan and Anakin, at stake, but you also have the stake of the universe between Yoda and fucking Sidious. Now, we've always heard about the growing up, kids who realized that Star Wars was actually existed for decades before the prequels were ever thought of. But we always heard about the duel between Vader and Obi-Wan back in the day. Mm-hmm. And we finally got to see it, and it lived up to its hype. I mean, that was one of the best duels in the whole movie. But at the same time, you had Yoda versus Sidious, and that scene in the throne room when there's, when you see the Senate and all the seats and Yoda and Sidious just battling in the middle. I mean, that was a total. I mean, you got to remember, this was back during the Bush years, and we just went to, we were in after 9/11, and the country was divided, not as much as it is now, but.
And if you grew up in that time, Palpatine makes complete sense. Well,
yes.
Wait, actually, Palpatine makes complete sense now, but let's.
Yeah, but that's just, there's just so much going on and so much political, social commentary going on in both those duels. It's the highlight of the trilogy.
My favorite part about that scene, and you know what? Fuck it. That's what part are you on? Number 3, right? That's mine too.
3.
That's mine too. Okay, so let me just continue on with that. Because in one scene, Palpatine is actually floating on one of those chairs. One of those Senate chairs?
Yeah.
And he's throwing the other chairs at Yoda while he's floating and flying on the chair. I'm like, okay, these force powers are nuts right now,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it reflects on, it's a commentary of what they're doing right now. Like, he's destroying the Senate. The more power he comes, he's destroying the Senate, And plus, the Mustafar fight, their rage and battling with each other and stuff like that. Master versus apprentice. And, man, just the ending of it, when Obi-Wan finally beat him, it's like he beat him, but he lost.
Yeah, and what he says, don't try it. I have the higher ground.
Right.
That's like not only, figuratively in the combat, but, as far as like metaphorically and morally. Mm-hmm. I have the higher ground. Don't try it. You're wrong, man. Don't do this.
and that's basically what made Anakin fall, his own hubris. Like he thought he was more powerful than what he was. Like he was powerful because and when you really watch that fight, he had the advantage to most of the fight. Because like Obi-Wan was backpedaling, but at that one time it's like Anakin got a little bit too arrogant and he was cut down.
Mm-hmm.
So the funny thing is, like I said, George Lucas did a commentary on that whole thing and basically like that. It was basically saying like Anakin, he sided with Palpatine, but the whole time he was like, I'm gonna screw with Palpatine anyway. Once I get what I need from Palpatine, I'm gonna cut his head off and I'm gonna become the new emperor. That was his whole plan the whole time. But when Obi-Wan did what he did, he wasn't as powerful as he was before.
Yeah.
So he was like, I might as well just do what Palpatine wants. I mean, I can't beat him at this level because half my body's cut in half. And that's the people keep asking. And this is the thing I hate when non-Star Wars fans ask who's more powerful, Vader or Anakin. There is no comparison. Anakin was way more powerful.
Yeah.
So, like, he's not the same guy he was when he was in his 20s, flipping around in lava and shit like that, floor pulling. Nah, he's not the same guy.
And some of the novels and comics actually address that of Anakin trying to maneuver that fucking suit. I mean, he was basically a robot after that.
Yeah.
He had robot legs, 2 robot arms.
Mm-hmm.
He had to breathe. He needed that mask to breathe.
Right.
So,
like, his connection was the Force was cut because of what happened to him,
Yeah, and he used a lot of the Force. He was constantly using the Force just to function in everyday life. So, so his lightsaber skills aren't as smooth as they are in the original.
And that's one thing. And one fight that won't be on any of our list, hopefully, is the fight from The New Hope. When Obi-Wan versus Vader, and George Lucas he retconned. This all bullshit. But he said, "Yes, I did it on purpose to show them that they're old, broken down, and not what they used to be." Like, you got to look at that fight when they just like stick fighting versus the Mustafar fight when they ninja flipping over lava and shit like that. And it's 2 different fights.
Yeah, they're both old men by then.
Right.
Which I don't know what people cannot understand about Luke being an old man in The Last Jedi.
Right. They expect him to be more powerful and, just, I don't know.
Yeah, just like, shooting fucking force lightning out of his asshole, All right, that was your number 3?
That was my number 3, yeah.
That was my number. Okay, that was my number 3. Okay, so my number 2 is Luke versus Vader on Cloud City. At the end of Empire.
Okay.
Yeah. So this at the time was the greatest lightsaber duel ever. Before the prequels, because let's face it, the only thing the prequels really had were awesome lightsaber fights.
Right.
But this one was just an epic battle of fates. You had Luke being tempted by the dark side, and it goes. It's so metaphorical as they meet. It's like they keep descending. I mean, they meet in that chamber where they froze Han Solo, and because that's where where Vader planned to freeze Luke and bring him to the Emperor. Mm-hmm. But they start dueling, and at first, Vader thinks Luke is going to be like an easy win. He's like all like using one hand. He's like kind of toying with Luke, but Luke is showing some skills. And then he kicks Vader off that platform, and Vader falls. And then Luke has to descend. It's like he keeps descending down into hell, following Vader. And then they fight in that corridor where, Vader's like, okay, Luke's a little more powerful than I thought. Mm-hmm. I better start pulling out some tricks. That's when he starts using the Force to throw all that shit at him. And they break the window. And then Luke goes falling down out the window even further. They descend onto this next level. And then after that, Vader is just pissed. You see Vader just come out, and he's like, doesn't give a shit. He goes, okay, I got to knock this kid out. He's starting to piss me off. And he's like, and that's when he finally cuts off Luke's hand, and then the whole reveal. I mean, there was so much emotional, it was such an emotional climax, mm-hmm. And that it was, and then of course that reveal that just blew audiences away. How everybody feels about the Avengers movie now, that's how we felt back then.
Right.
That was a big bomb dropped on there.
Like you may have say it invented the spoiler, invented the plot twist,
Yeah. Yeah, because none of us went into Empire thinking we were gonna get a revelation like that.
And even then, some people didn't believe it.
Yeah.
We had to wait till Return of the Jedi to actually
3 years.
Right.
Y'all have to wait 1 year for the next Avengers movie.
Right. And people are freaking out over that, you know.
Yeah, the motherfuckers are binge watching shit on Netflix, finding out what happened. We had to wait 3 years to find out what happened.
Till they just speculate what was going on there. So.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my number 2, Luke versus Vader at Empire. Yeah.
Okay, I take it back, Eli. I'm not disappointing you. For some reason, when you said the Dagobah fight, I got them confused. I was like, oh, but it's the Cloud City fight. Yes, Cloud City fight is also my number 2. That was always the one I was going to go to also. Just to add to what you were saying also, the reason I like about that fight so much is because it's like you said, Vader wasn't taking him seriously at first. What I noticed in that fight at the beginning when they first started fighting, Vader was fighting Luke with one hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't taking the fight seriously, but then Luke was like, okay, you're not going to take it seriously. He started to fight with one hand, and Vader's like, stop. And that's when he knocked the lightsaber out of his hand. He was like, dude, you're not on my level, you know. But then it's like you said, once Vader found out, okay, he actually has some skill, that's when he stepped it up and not just start doing force powers and fighting him at the same time. And you can see in Luke's head, like, you're cheating, you know. Like, no, I'm not cheating. This is a fight. Here's what you do in a fight, you know. So
release your anger. Only your hatred can destroy me. I mean, he's fucking with him, you know,
right? And it's
taunting him and shit.
Right, and then the like you said, the reveal you gave with "I am your father," it makes you rethink about the whole movie you just saw. You like, especially when they was in a training scene, you know, in the training scene with. And is that the scene you were talking about, the Dagobah system?
Yeah, when they're on Yoda's planet. Yeah, when he has to go down in that cave.
Gotcha.
And Yoda's like, you know, your weapons, you will not need them, you know. But he takes his weapons down there with him, and then
because he did listen to him. So basically, when he went down there, he was really fighting himself. That's the thing. So.
Yeah, he was having like a vision. Yeah.
Yeah, so it makes you think about the whole thing. Okay, that's what Yoda was trying to tell him the entire time. Now he's on this same. So if Vader is this evil dude that he looked up to, that he, you know, glorified in his head as being this awesome dude, and that's Vader, Luke may be on that same path. You know, so it makes you think about that already before you even see Jedi. You're like, oh, wow. And then it makes you think about all the stuff that everybody told him. Yoda, Obi-Wan, everything they fed him was bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you look at everything differently and like, wow, that's insane. So, yeah, that's one of my just favorite scenes. And it's just everything about it. Just the cinematography for that back in the 80s was insane. Like, he's standing there
before CG, that's all old school sets.
That's all so like model. What was the name of the director in that one? Irvin
Kershner.
Irvin Kershner. He did a commentary on it also. And basically, he said the whole thing he was trying to paint heaven and hell at the same time. Like, he wanted the darkness behind Vader, because Vader is basically the devil come to life, while he's got the smoke is supposed to be like heaven and the bright lights, and he wanted to have that, you know, that symmetry there. And I was like,
in a city in the clouds,
right?
In the clouds, it's and plus I just want to mention that scene also has one of my favorite images of the whole trilogy of Star Wars of all time. Mm-hmm. You know, one of my all-time favorite images of Luke igniting his lightsaber when they go down to that hallway after they've been in the carbonite chamber, and he meets Vader in the hallway, and Vader steps to him, and Luke just pulls out his lightsaber. I always loved that pose. I used to sit there and practice in the mirror trying to do that pose of Luke just igniting his lightsaber, like I just thought he looked so fucking cool.
Right. And then just the heartbreak of it that, you know, Luke did all this training to fight this guy and then got his ass kicked. You know? That's what the heartbreaking part about it. Like, wow, what'd you train for? You know? And so, okay, so number one, I'm pretty sure we agree on what number one is. I think I already know what your number one's going to be.
Okay, yeah, my number one is Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn versus Darth Maul.
Yep, I already knew it. I'm pretty sure that's everybody's number one, you know?
Yeah, best lightsaber duel ever. I mean, this is something we never saw anything like that in any of the Star Wars movies, you know? Right. Especially like the double-bladed lightsaber, and like Darth Maul was like a fucking Jedi ninja, you know, all that martial arts choreography, and just the choreography itself of them dueling, him taking on two like Jedi and shit, and
don't forget the soundtrack. Duel of Fates.
Duel of Fates, you know, that's right up there, just as iconic as the Imperial March, you know. Say what you will about the Phantom Menace, but it gave us Darth Maul and it gave us that fucking song. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
you could throw the rest of the movie away, but just that scene.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that, and plus you saw a Jedi die, you know, which is like, you never saw that except for like the Obi-Wan thing, but you never saw a Jedi in his prime die like that. So you're like, holy shit, he just killed Qui-Gon. Like,
Right. And then ready to fight the next one. It's like, oh, well, now you know Obi-Wan's not going to die, but you're like, whoa, how Obi-Wan going to get out of this, you know?
and I was so bummed out when they killed Darth Maul. I was like, oh man, he was so awesome.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, he's not going to be in the second one? You know?
Yeah.
But man, when Obi-Wan came out of that, you know, that little chamber, he was after he saw Qui-Gon die, and just the way they went at each other, I was like, I think I rewinded that scene so many times. I think I wore out my VCR tape.
The choreography was so smooth. I mean, this is like back, The Matrix, when the guys from The Matrix got Wu Ping to choreograph those fight scenes where you saw the actual actors doing this combat shit. And it was just, it just, like I said, I was a big Hong Kong action fan. So I was like, wow, this is like, Kung Fu movies only with lightsabers and shit.
Right. And then they're using like super speed and super jump. You're like, it was amazing. You know, you wasn't expecting that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, best duel ever.
Okay, we agree on that one. So awesome. Let's see what else we got. I got no video game news. Oh, I'll tell you one thing about video game news. I did buy a PlayStation 4.
Oh no!
I went ahead. I wanted to play God, but I haven't bought God of War yet. I'll get God of War on Friday. I probably
one of these days.
I'll get it this Friday. I'll Twitch stream it. You know, I'll give a review on just to say what I think about it. But yeah, I had to wait on that because, like I said, I got the PlayStation 4 Pro, like the bigger one. You know.
Okay, was it on sale or something?
It was on sale.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I was like, that's why I jumped on. I was like, well, I got to get it now, even though I really shouldn't be getting this now. I'm just getting it now. But because when I got it, and now it's just sitting there. I don't even do anything with it. It's just waiting for God of War before me turn it on. So
I can even download a free something. I think that Mad Max might be on there free still if you get the PlayStation Network.
Yeah, not doing that.
I downloaded that.
I'm not doing that PlayStation Plus shit. No. So let me say, okay, can we move to the comic book section now?
Sure.
Okay. I didn't read shit. The end. No, okay. Since I didn't read anything, and we've been on this Infinity War, trip and everything like that, so I decided to go in the past and try to dig into crates and dig up an old book. And this book is Silver Surfer 35. Like I said, Silver Surfer 35 was in, I can't remember the exact date. I think it was in, where do we have? I'm going to pull up the date for you right now. It was in March 10th, 1990. So just take
sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. So Eli, imagine yourself back in 1990, what you were doing and stuff like that, reading Silver Surfer comics, stuff like that. So basically what this book is about, this is not the first appearance of Thanos in a Silver Surfer comic. It was the second appearance of Silver Surfer in the comics. The first time Silver Surfer and Thanos actually interacted with each other, because in the book before this, he just appeared in one panel that was in and left on a cliffhanger. So in this one, he's there, and Silver Surfer and Thanos are talking back and forth with each other. And Silver Surfer has never met this guy before, but he remembers hearing about him from the Avengers. And the Avengers was saying, okay, this was like the worst guy they've ever gone up against. Like, he was a monster. Every time he came down, there was a war when he came, sending his armies. But Thanos is just having a nice conversation with Silver Surfer. So we're like, okay, something's not adding up here. This guy's supposed to be like evil incarnate. So I'm just going to just relax and just wait for him to make the first move and see what happens. And Thanos is like, Silver Surfer, I want to tell you exactly what my plan is right now. I want you to hop onto my space chair, that little chair he flies around in all the time and shit like that. Come to my chair and I'm gonna just show you exactly what my plan is. So he hops on the chair and they teleport to Earth. And the reason they teleport to Earth, because he's trying to tell me, he's like, I'm telling you with your Earth, Silver Surfer, because you're very familiar with Earth and you've been here because of time. So I want to give you an example of what's going on right now. Have you ever heard of the Great Imbalance? He was like, no. Well, basically what the Great Balance is that life and death are two sides of the same coin. One can't exist without the other. But take a look at Earth. With Earth, you have science and you have all these, great medical breakthroughs that are going right now. You have people living longer than they've ever lived before. Like, do you realize that out of all the people that have been born on this planet, over half of them are alive right now on Earth? And so it's like, Okay, what's your point? I'm gonna show you my point. So he teleports him to Tokyo in rush hour, and he like, look at all these people on this little bitty island. You know,
that sounds so familiar. I remember that. Yeah.
I'm taking you back, like flashback. Yeah, so all this happens. He like,
go on the subway or something.
They
like
go
that.
on the subway, and it's super packed. And he was like, look at all these people on this little bitty island in rush hour in Tokyo. And Silver Surfer like, okay, that's Tokyo. Yes, they're overcrowded, they're overpopulated. That's just one example of the city. One example. And then he teleports him again. He teleports him to a landfill in the United States. He was like, let's go to the United States. Do you know how many people leave waste in the United States? They dump 2 tons of waste per year in the United States. Just garbage. Then he goes to a landfill so far as the eye can see. Just waste is everywhere. And the people in the United States don't even care that they're leaving all this waste, because all this waste they're doing is actually destroying the environment because it's just waste. And then he teleports them to like a smelting pot or like a gas, facility, something like that. And, it's just polluting the air, toxin all over the place. Like, look at this. They don't even realize the stuff they're doing to their own planet. They're killing themselves and don't even realize it. And then Silver Surfer like, well, don't worry about that. I'm pretty sure somebody on the planet Earth will figure out what's going on and find a place to stop it. And Thanos looks at him like, do you really believe that? You really believe that the people on Earth are going to find a way to stop the pollution and the waste and the environmental stuff they're doing and overpopulation, or even talking about maybe birth control? They're not going to do it. They haven't been, because if they were going to do it, they would have done it already. And it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Earth is pretty much planting the seeds to their own destruction. They can't keep going the way they're going. They're going to eventually be overpopulated or destroy their own ozone layer, because they're expecting somebody else to solve the problem for them when they don't know they can do the problem themselves. So then he teleports them again, teleports to another planet. He was like, I'm going to give you another example. I'm going to take you to this other planet called Solaria. Now, these people are peaceful. That's just like some little cat monkeys or whatever like that running around like that. Yeah. So these people are peaceful. They don't bother anybody. They don't start wars. All they want to do is just eat and find shelter. That's all they do. They don't call
mate. And
mate, yeah. He said, because that's the problem with them. Since they don't do anything, all they do is eat, shit, and fuck. That's it. Yeah. So they're just overpopulating this planet. So by the time from now, about 20 years from now, there's going to be so many people on this planet, they won't be able to feed themselves. And when they won't be able to feed themselves, that's when you're going to start getting tribalism. That's when you're going to start getting clan wars. That's when you're going to start getting cannibalism, because the planet won't be able to sustain themselves. So this little problem I showed you on Solaria, the problem I showed you on Earth, is happening all over the universe, because the more people that are popping up, it's becoming unbalanced. People need to die for other people to show up. Because if this keeps going on, the whole entire universe is going to eventually collapse, because it's not enough to go around. So, and then Silver Surfer's like, so what do you propose to do? Well, easy. I propose euthanasia. I had to look that term up, so you can look it up later on. Basically, what euthanasia is, what he thinks it is, I'm going to wipe out 50% of the universe. Silver's like, wait, what? Yeah, I'm going to kill everybody. And that way, the universe will finally be balanced again, and it'll be able to sustain itself. Because if I don't do this, then everybody's going to be wiped out. And Silver Surfer like, okay, you're crazy. I'm going to stop you right now. And Thanos is like, no, you're not. Because that planet we just went to, Solaria, you took some of that bacteria from Earth and gave it to them. And you didn't even know you did. I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, and he said, matter of fact, 50% of the planet is already dead because of you. If you can either fight me right now, or you go save the other 50%. And so Silver Surfer like, oh shit. So he hops on his board, go to the planet. He used his Silver Surfer power cosmic to like heal the people that are still there. But the thing is, the people that are still alive, they hate him, because they know that he's the one that killed half the planet, Mm-hmm. So, and that's how the book also ends with Drax the Destroyer popping up, some shit like that. But anyway, that's how the book ends. So I think that actually paints more of a picture of what Thanos was planning in Avengers Infinity War than Infinity War gave us, because I think this plan was kind of murky and not really fleshed out in the movie. But like I said, according to this comic book, it's exactly taken from that. People are saying that one thing, like, why don't he just expand more resources? Why don't he make the universe bigger? That's not improving that's not improving his plan. Because if you make more resources and you make the planet bigger and you make more people, that means there's more waste. That means there's more damage to the environment. That's actually making a bigger problem than it was before. No, according to Thanos' plan. I'm not saying, Thanos was right, but I'm just saying.
He is insane.
Right, he is insane. But you can kind of see where he's coming from, that yes, people need to die to make room for other people. If the other people don't die and other people are coming, that creates a problem.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see what they're saying. Like people saying make more resources. The resources thing won't work. Death is a natural part of life. Extending our life, it actually is making everything worse for everybody, So that's my whole thing about that. I think that after listening to that, I was like, Thanos kind of has a point, But I just wish the movie would have fleshed that out a little bit more and brought you to your point from there,
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's the only book I read. I didn't read shit else, so.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to switch to DC.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Now, Batman 46, The Gift, Part 2. Now, as you know, last issue, Booster Gold decided to give Batman and Catwoman a wedding gift because they're about to get married.
Okay.
And Booster Gold thinks, the best gift, what can you get for a man who has everything?
He didn't say that. He didn't say that, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay. It was a throwback to the Alan Moore thing. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to go back in time and save Batman's parents. So by doing so, he creates this whole new timeline where Gotham is just fucked up. It's like the worst city on Earth. Batman, Jason Todd is now Batman, and he's like killing people. He's like the Punisher with using guns and just killing people. There's like this Joker virus that is turning people into Jokers. Cobblepot's president.
Of the United States?
Yeah.
Well, he was already mayor before, so okay.
Yeah, he's president now. He's like in league with Ra's al Ghul and shit like that. And Bruce Wayne is living happily as a, rich 1% asshole, kind of, along with his parents. Both his parents are still alive. And they're kind of ignoring, all the problems of the world, just living in their lap of luxury in their ivory tower, ignoring the plights of society, basically. Mm-hmm. Just kind of being selfish, rich assholes. Booster Gold finally comes to him and tells him what he's done. Like, hey, I tried to give you, I changed the future, and this is all wrong. I got to go back and fix it. But Bruce Wayne ends up busting Skeets or whatever, his little time travel device. So
right,
now
he's
Booster Gold can't
make sure he doesn't go back, right?
Yeah, so now Booster Gold can't time travel now. So this issue, number 46, picks up right. It's a year later. A year has passed, and Gotham is just fucked up. It starts out as Booster Gold breaks Selina Kyle out of Arkham, and he's like, "Hey, in the universe I come from, you marry Batman, so I got to fix everything. So I figured I'm gonna take you to go meet Batman because he loves you, and love conquers all, and all that shit. He thinks by seeing Catwoman that Bruce Wayne will somehow remember and fix everything, that he'll become the Bruce Wayne that he remembers from the other universe. So that's what he does. He goes into Arkham, breaks her out, and the whole time he's like, explaining all this shit for her. All she's doing is saying meow, meow. Like she doesn't say anything.
Okay.
She's just going meow. And meanwhile, Bruce Wayne is kind of, him and his parents are involved in their rich lifestyle. They show basically at the end, Booster Gold shows up at Wayne Manor with Catwoman, and right away, Catwoman like kills Alfred, like
what?
Claws out his throat. Yeah, claws out his throat, and then you realize that, oh shit, it turns out Selina Kyle is like some insane serial killer. Like,
well, he got her out of Arkham, so
there was a reason why she was in Arkham, and all she says is meow, and she's a serial killer, and and so so basically there's this fight at Wayne Manor, and then the Batman shows up, the Jason Todd Punisher Batman shows up and shoots her, you know, but she's still alive, and she like chops off his hand and shit. And there's this whole fight, and then fucking the Jason Todd like starts shooting, and he ends up shooting Martha Wayne. And then fucking
wow.
Yeah, Bruce picks up a gun and then shoots the Batman. So it just shows, yeah. Oh yeah, and Booster Gold gets shot too. So the Batman comes and shoots. Yeah, the Jason Todd Punisher Batman comes in, throws a grenade, blows up Booster Gold, and shoots him. Shoots that. Yeah, everyone gets shot, and then fucking Bruce Wayne picks up the gun and shoots the Jason Todd Batman. And It just ends with Bruce Wayne going, no, and all these dead bodies around him. And Booster Gold's like still barely alive, and he's like laying there bleeding. He's like, did I do it? Did I save the world? And it just ends there. So yeah, this is like a 4.5 out of 5. This is just crazy story.
Yeah, it's like an Elseworld story, but yeah, Booster Gold was so.
Yeah, it's like especially after fucking watching the Avengers where everybody dies. We'll read this book like holy shit, like everybody dies in this book.
Right. Oh man, she never gets old. So, shoot, got another one?
Oh yeah.
Okay, right. I got nothing else. I didn't do my homework this week, so. Now
this was last week. We skipped last week because we were just doing the Avengers, but I meant to review it last week because it came out for 4/26 Alien Day. Mm-hmm. The new Aliens Dust to Dust book, #1, and this is really fucking cool. And it starts out where like this little girl. It like wakes up and like there's like this alarm going off. So it's some planet. And then what's really cool about this comic is it unfolds. You don't really know what's going on. You're along for the ride and you're just going along with the characters. So you only know what the characters know. Mm-hmm. So you're on this journey with this little girl. She wakes up in the middle of the night because the alarm is going off. She looks on the monitor and like some dude's shooting and shit. And her like windows get shot out, and she's like, "Mom, Mom, Mom!" And she goes and wakes up her mom, and her mom is laying in bed with a fucking face hugger on her face. Damn, so she's being impregnated, and she's like, "What the hell?" And she like wakes up her mom, and then the face hugger falls off her mom and dies. So we know what's happening. Right. But the kid don't, or the mom don't.
Because they've never seen a xenomorph before. So.
Yeah. So they're like, what the hell's going on? I don't know, but the alarms are going off. We got to get out of here. We got to evacuate the planet. So it basically turns into a chase where they run out of their house, and then they're like an aliens like down in their like basement and shit. You know, they're like, what the fuck? And they're like jump in a car and they're like driving through town, and it's all, people are running around. It's all in chaos and shit. So it's just a chase book where they're just driving, trying to escape, and then they meet up with a colonial space marine, and he's like trying to help them escape and shit. And so it's like just a really intense chase story. And then the last panel is they're right about to get on. Actually, they do get on the ship. There's like the last shuttle is about to leave, and they're like, hold up, we're coming. And then they jump on the shuttle, and the fucking plant and the shuttle's flying away. And then all of a sudden the girl looks at her mom and she's like, I don't feel so good. And then bam, the fucking alien busts out of her chest.
Wow.
To be continued. So, So if you're a fan of the alien stories, this was awesome. The art is really gritty and raw and shit. And like I said, it's like a slasher movie where it's like just a chase. You don't really know what's going on, and the story, it's very well written where you can just kind of get the information as you go. I mean, if you know the story, but the characters don't. So it kind of ups the intensity and the suspense. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that the mom is infected and shit.
Right, and then the chest bursts. So yeah, this is Dark Horse, right?
Yep.
Okay, hey guys, if you like the Aliens comics, you better read it now because you know their deal is coming next year.
Yeah.
Fox and Disney, you're gonna get nothing but Marvel aliens.
Yeah, fucking yeah. Before Thanos fucking snaps his fingers and makes them all turn to dust.
Right. Oh man. So shoot, you got any other ones or?
No, I'll go with just these two.
Okay, those two. Like I said, light week for us. Honestly, it was some stuff I read this week. I was like, maybe I'll do that next week. I don't know when I actually do my homework. That being said, like I said, we got an epic one this week. If you listen to it this long, definitely like, share, and subscribe. Listen to other podcasts. Like I said, we got our sister podcast, Geeks Ave, where Eli's on there. We also got This Geeks and Comics. We actually do review comics. So all this shit we didn't do, they'll get you caught up. Comic Cast will also. We have Get Valiant. Like I said, they got a bunch of stuff going over there, a bunch of Valiant books going on. Hoodoo TV, also another Valiant book. I'm pretty sure I'm missing one. Look at the list. There's a bunch of them on there.
Instruments of its Destruction.
I always forget that name. Yeah. Hasbro got a bunch of stuff going on right now. Something to do with Power Rangers. I don't know. Ryan Gum will tell you all that. Yeah, that being said, Eli, you got anything else?
I think we got it.
Cool. Okay, until next time, it's Leroy.
This is Eli.
And we'll talk to you guys next week. Same bully time, same bully channel. Cool.
Boom. All right, cool.
Let me give it a second before I cut it off. And